Bonjour, mes amours. Welcome back to Dining Room Dance Party, your go-to place for fashion from a guy who likes to talk and dance in his dining room a lot. That sounds like a solid intro. I feel like that aptly describes the channel. Also, let's take a moment for the fit today, you know? Wait, hold on. Gotta give you all the fit, you know? It's looking pretty nice. Got the taekwondos. My little ruffly socks, too. Love those. And these beads, aren't they fun? Just use them as like a bag charm. I mean, as a, not a bag charm. They're a bag charm that I use as a belt charm. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. Welcome back. I just wanted to, you know, start off with a little fit check so that you could see my credentials, even though this is a pretty, you know, basic, boring outfit. I also just wanted to show my fit off because I like it. Okay, sue me. I enjoy the way that my fit looks today. It's nice and simple, but it gets the job done and I feel good in it. Okay, I'm sorry. Hop off my Johnson. Okay, what do you want from me? Today's video is a very fun one. It's a combination of, I guess, advice, tips, and maybe a little ranting, but it is essentially this. Have you ever walked past a store, right, and just looked at the store, you look through the windows and you just say, that's not my style. I can't see myself there. I can't see myself in those clothes. And then you just pass it by, right? It could be a well-known store. It could be a random store you saw maybe on vacation, a little boutique, just something, some hole in the wall. It doesn't matter, anything at all. Well, in today's video, I'm gonna show you why doing that and limiting yourself is a missed opportunity. Now, a little bit of background / context on this video and why I wanted to do this. A couple weeks ago, I posted a video on my TikTok about, I don't even remember what it was about. It's pretty irrelevant. But in that video, I was wearing a shirt from Acne Studios, and one of the comments I got the most was people just hating on Acne Studios. There's so many comments of like, I don't understand how you could like Acne Studios. It's just baggy denim and brand name t-shirts, da-da-da-da. This got me thinking, first of all, people who comment that typically comment from a place of insecurity, right? That it's from a place of like, oh, to make myself feel better about myself, I have to hate on something that other people find popular or like, right? Which that's, you know, a whole nother topic in and of itself. But that also got me thinking, how many people pass up stores that could offer clothes that they would really love just because of what they believe or their preconceived notions regarding the store or the brand or whatever it may be. In addition to that, one of the comments that I constantly get on my TikTok is, where do you shop for clothes? Where do you get your clothing? You know, where do I buy this, that, and the other? Where do you get accessories, all that? And that's pretty much like an impossible question for me to answer because I shop at a bunch of different brands, right? I don't shop at the same brands over and over. I shop literally anywhere and everywhere. I don't care. It could be a hole in the wall. It could be some dude selling selling clothes out of the back of his car, right? It doesn't matter to me. So today, I'm gonna give you all some advice on how to actually diversify your style and how to actually stand out. Of course, we got the handy dandy computer. I'm gonna try not to blind y'all this week, sorry. But for point number one, let's talk about perception versus reality. A lot of the times when you think of any brand, it could be Margiela, it could be Acne Studios, it could be Gap, for instance, or Target. No matter what brand you think of, something comes to mind, right? You have a perceived view of them, or you perceive them in a certain way, I should say. But that perception doesn't always match up with reality, because the reality is, no matter how you perceive these brands, most brands, if not like almost all brands, have a very wide range of styles that cover a lot of ground, frankly, and could be used to fit a lot of different aesthetics, including yours. For example, look at J. Crew. J. Crew's entire men's section, I don't like. I don't think any of their clothes fit me the way that I like. Most of their women's clothes is like very girly that I don't like, but the sweet spot for me for J. Crew is typically their sweaters. Like, I love sweaters from J. Crew's women's section. I think they're amazing. And like I said, even though some of the other stuff is not my style, occasionally they do have like a great pair of loafers in the men's section, or they do have a great jacket, suit, blazer, whatever. Or maybe there's a nice like button-up shirt in the women's section that I like. While I perceive them as kind of like a preppy East Coast, like kind of younger brother Ralph Lauren-esque brand, and maybe that's what a lot of their pieces kind of tend towards, a lot of their other pieces can easily be styled to fit outside of that specific aesthetic. And this applies to basically any brand. Think of any brand that you maybe don't shop at, or I guess next time you're out walking around or shopping or anywhere, whatever, look at any store that you walk by and just try to imagine what your perception of them is, and then maybe walk through the store and see if how you perceive the store matches up with the reality of what they actually have in there. And this kind of segues into my second point, which I guess I've kind of already been saying, but every single store / brand has hidden hidden gems. Like I said, the next time you're walking around past a store that you think like, oh, I don't want to look in there. Like for me, it used to be Sandro Paris. I used to walk by Sandro all the time and think, oh, that's like old woman clothing. And then one day I was like, you know what? Why don't I just like walk through Sandro? Why not? And I went in and found one of the coolest tops I have ever seen in my entire life. And to this day, it was out of my price range then, and I just never bought it, and then it went out of season. But to this day, I still want that top because I think it's so beautiful. Even though the rest of their collections, their patterns, I don't like the patterns they choose for almost pretty much all their clothes. And the rest of their stuff, again, feels kind of like old, wealthy woman. There are a couple pieces from Sandro that when I walked through, I was like, oh my God, these are amazing. They're just absolutely beautiful. Like I have to have these. And again, this is a women's store too, right? It's a women's, like it's not geared towards me. I am not the target demographic of Sandro. They do not make clothes that are supposed to be for me. But even then, I was able to find stuff that I like. And that goes the same for you. Walk by any store that you don't typically like, and I encourage you to just walk in and take a look around and just see what they have to offer, because I can almost guarantee if you spend time and you really go through diligently and with care and with the desire to actually look through the clothes and you go through everything, I guarantee that you can find at least one thing that you're interested in and that you like. The same thing applies to thrift stores and flea markets. Even if they don't look appealing from the outside, or even if it's maybe not your thing or whatever, just walk through, look at everything diligently, like try to have an eye, try to think outside of your comfort zone and see what they have to offer. And I guarantee you can probably find stuff that you love. Point 3, let's talk about the benefit of diversifying, right? Why in the first place would you even want to shop at other stores? Well, I think that's honestly a very, very simple, easy answer. And that is because people who have really true, unique personal style, that sense of unique personal style typically doesn't come from shopping at one brand. It comes through shopping at many brands and picking and choosing and deciding what you like from each of those brands and pulling them into your own aesthetic and making them yours, right? It's kind of this thoughtful curation from different brands that really help you to express your personal style. And in addition to that, people who have really true, like really, really unique personal style, there's a lot of like creative reward, I'd say, in going through stores that you don't think that you would find anything that you like at and discovering something unexpected that you really, really love. Going into a store where you think nothing in here, I wouldn't like anything in here, and then you find something and you're like, oh my gosh, wait, like I actually love this. Like that's really fun. And again, that's why thrifting and flea markets are so rewarding, because you go through and you just think, I have no clue what in the world I would ever like in here. Like there's a billion different things. And part of the fun, excitement, creatively reward or satisfying part of that is going through the whole thing and finding something that you really love, that really resonates with you, that really helps you to show your personal style. So again, there is a benefit to diversifying. It's not just do it just to do it. Also, this light is heinous today. Wow, I actually can't avoid this. What do I do? Do I have to move over? I guess I'm gonna sit on this side of my screen today. This is kind of a sub point on the benefits of curation versus just simply consuming, just grabbing things from the same brand. There is a benefit and there is something that sets you apart when you are very thoughtful and you're very selective with the pieces that you get, and not just buying things from a brand just because you like the brand, just because the way you perceive the brand is that it's a good brand and that people like that brand and that people are gonna like your outfit because you're wearing that brand, or fill in the blank. You should be picking items from stores that genuinely fit your vision for what you want in an outfit, what you want out of your own personal style, what you want to express, rather than just the most popular, best-selling items at your favorite store. And I'm gonna call some of you all out, and you're not gonna like this, but the Uniqlo Demons, for example, right? You just go in and you buy the same thing from Uniqlo, and that's part of the reason why everybody is having this crisis of everybody dresses the same now, everybody's wearing the same thing, is partly because you have places like Uniqlo where people are just rushing in because Uniqlo makes great basics, and so people just rush in and like, oh, this one's popular, people say this one's good, and so they just grab that. And you can say the same thing of like Zara, H&M, any of these whatever stores, but it's people just rushing in and saying like, oh, I know this store has great stuff, I know people vouch from them, let me just grab whatever's popular and apply that to me. And that's why everybody feels like they look the same online now. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't apply to where you live in real life, but one of the common arguments, or one of the common problems I hear about fashion nowadays online, is that everybody just dresses the same, everybody looks the same all the time. And that's one of the big reasons, is because people are just consuming clothes, they're not curating clothes. And that is a huge difference. That is something that really sets you apart, is that diversification of curating your own clothes to apply to you rather than consuming. And this leads me to point number 4, which might be one of my more important points, and that is to stop being a brand mannequin. Now, Connor, what is a brand mannequin, you might say? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. Like I said earlier, when you walk by and you're window shopping and you see these mannequins in the window displays and they're wearing whatever, you know, all their clothes from whatever collection this is, for a lot of people, that is you. You are that window display model wearing that outfit. I would encourage you to not heavily rely on just one or two brands that you really love, even though you really love them. I get that you might really love them. There's nothing wrong with loving a brand. I get that sometimes brands really carry out your vision or maybe express consistently what you like, but there's other brands that also can have pieces or put out collections where some of the pieces also cater to that same aesthetic that you just wouldn't know about if you don't give them a chance. If you're relying on just one or two brands, this doesn't, in my opinion, really express your like unique sense of style, your unique personal aesthetic, whatever you want to express to the world and say, hey, this is my aesthetic, this is what I like. All that does is reflect the brand's identity through you. That basically just turns you into a walking billboard. You're just an ad for this company. It dumbs it down a lot from saying, hey, this is my aesthetic, this is what I want to express, and to now you're just saying, hey, this brand is cool, they make great stuff. Look at all the pieces from this brand obviously go together because they're from the same brand. When you only wear a couple brands, your style is not your style, it's essentially just their style on you. And again, a community that I might piss off a little bit is the Margiela demons, right? I love Margiela. I think they make absolutely wonderful, amazing clothes, some of the coolest things I've ever seen. But people who like Margiela like it in almost like a culty way, where it's like, I only wear Margiela, I'm only gonna buy Margiela. And again, there's nothing wrong with liking Margiela, and sometimes there are exceptions, right? Some people genuinely just love Maison Margiela and they just love his vision and they just want to express that, and that's totally fine, that's totally okay. But for other people who might be watching this, and this, again, this applies to more than just Margiela. Margiela is just the example that comes to my head off the top because I feel like that's one of those brands specifically, especially with like the tabbies being super popular. That's one of those brands where people are just kind of like jumping on it. But for a lot of y'all, you're not really expressing anything other than just Margiela. You're just a walking Margiela billboard. And for people who know about Margiela or know about fashion, that's really all they see when they see you is, oh, this person likes Margiela. You don't look at these people who only wear Margiela and say like, oh, this is their personal style. You just say, oh, this is Margiela style. Like, oh, they like Margiela. It's not them, it's Margiela. And a lot of the times it's recognizable. Same with Acne Studios. And I'll say that as a person who really loves acne, you can tell when somebody's like an Acne Studios demon. And that's coming from me. And I own a few Acne Studios pieces, right? They might be honestly the designer brand I own the most pieces from, maybe. But even then, it's only, I think, 4 out of probably the 100+ items of clothing that I have. But if I was to wear all Acne Studios, people wouldn't say, hey, what's your style? Where do you shop? Like I get all the time in my TikTok comments. They would just immediately know, oh, he likes Acne Studios. This is an Acne Studios outfit. I'm not saying anything through that. I'm just advertising Acne Studios. So again, don't be a brand mannequin. Don't be a brand's billboard. Be yourself. And in order to do that, shop from different stores, curate from other stores. Don't just stick to the same brands. I promise you, you'll have so much more fun. Because for instance, those people who love Margiela, wouldn't it be so much more fun to put together a fit of a bunch of different outfits that people would think associate with Margiela? And you know, hey, I like Margiela so much, I'm able to curate an entire outfit that gives the essence of Margiela, which is what I want to convey. But I was able to do that by wearing clothes from all these other brands. Like that's so much more creatively satisfying, and that says so much more about you. This leads me to my next point, and that is how to shop strategically at any store. Now, the way that I typically do this is, I guess this isn't really strategy, so I should really rename this section to actually not how to shop strategically at any store, but shop methodically at every store. So now I'm going to show you an example of how I would shop at a store. For instance, let's just go to, I guess I should probably do a store that I don't typically shop at. Hold on, give me, I guess, well, you don't have to give me a second to think. I'm going to cut the thinking out of the video, but I need a second to think of a brand that I don't typically shop at. Oh, I actually have the perfect example. Let's do Alexander McQueen. I never ever have even thought of Alexander McQueen. I walk by them every time I'm in New York, and I've never gone to the store. And then I went in, again, literally take my own advice. Am I right, chat? Am I right? But I walked by with my friend and he likes Alexander McQueen. So we went in and I ended up finding a jacket that I absolutely like loved. Oh, it was so beautiful. Let me just show you an example of going through and like what I would kind of look for. All right, so I'm on Alexander McQueen. First, let's just go through the men's. So immediately it takes you to men's sandals and slides. That's not really what I want to look at originally. generally, or right off the bat. Men's ready to wear, okay? Looking at all these, not a big fan of pretty much anything, so I'll just keep literally scrolling and scrolling until I find something that I like. Like this. This is very interesting. Now, out of everything on this page I've seen so far, I don't like anything except this. This is the men's stacked shoulder raincoat in sand. Very interesting. I actually don't think that I really... Well, it's not that bad with the belt. I love that collar. I love this like back detailing with the buttons. See, this is a really cool coat that I never would have known about if I hadn't gone to Alexander McQueen. And obviously I'm probably not going to buy it because it's $3,200. So, you know, go back, load a few more. Oh my gosh. You see, okay. Oh, oops. Okay. See, I haven't really liked anything, but then look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. The men's double-breasted shrunken blazer in black. This is gorgeous. I love this cut. I love the lapel. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful jacket. And I might not even wear this. Like, this might not even be something that I wear, but I do love it. It makes me interested in McQueen, and I never would have thought that if I never took the time to actually go through McQueen and you know, actually look at them. And again, I'd keep going through this. Actually, speaking of McQueen, this is the jacket I was talking about that I found that I liked. I never would have thought I liked this, but the sales associate had me try it on just because, you know, why not try it on? And I fell in love with this thing. I think it's one of the most beautiful jackets I've ever tried on. I think it fits me. It goes so well with my style. I never would have guessed. And literally the only reason I even looked at this jacket is because a sales associate had me try it on. And again, McQueen is not a brand that I think about. It's not a brand I shop at, but they have stuff that I like this rugby polo, great. This jacket, cool. I don't like the length fit of it, but it's still cool. This thing, like the funnel neck jumper in ivory, unbelievable. These oversized paper bag trousers, really cool. Everything else, I don't like. I don't like basically any of this other stuff. I think it's all pretty whatever. Scrolling through everything, I don't like really any of these, but there's some pieces that I actually do really enjoy. All right, let's go over to the women's. Again, it's gonna bring me to the sandals and shoes and stuff. Typically, next I would go to women's, or I'd start with women's, and oh my goodness, wow, these are beautiful. Again, not stuff that I would necessarily wear for a lot of these. Let's just keep going through. This blazer, I love this blazer. Very cool. Probably wouldn't fit me correctly, but that's a beautiful blazer. All this other stuff, I can at least appreciate how beautiful and they all are, and the time and the designs and all of them. But like all of this stuff, I'm still not seeing anything that I typically would, or personally would want to take home. Keep scrolling, keep going down. Again, still no, not a whole lot. And look at this, I'm going to like the third page, and I don't like these patterns. I don't like these dresses. I don't really like any of this stuff. But again, this is curation right here. This is taking the time. It's not consuming. It's not just going through and finding the most popular whatever, but it's taking the time to go through all of these items, all of these pages, even though I don't like almost all of them, even though you may consider it technically a waste of time because I'm just going through, I'm just seeing a bunch of things I don't like. I know eventually I'm going to run into something that I do like in here. All right, I've scrolled way far down and found this woman's shearling stole wool pea coat and camel. Wow, it's a mouthful. This is crazy. Wow, this jacket is absolutely unreal. I would absolutely love to wear this jacket. And I had to go through like, what was that, 6 or 7 different pages just to find this. And this is absolutely gorgeous, breathtaking. You go to shoes, accessories, jewelry next. They have a bunch of stuff. Let's just view all the women's shoes because I like a lot of women's shoes. Again, I don't really like any of these. I don't like any of the boots, any of the sneakers. They're not really for me. They're a little bit too like punk, I guess. But look at this, ballet flat and black. Wow, these are lovely. Absolutely lovely. I love the look of these. They're so gorgeous. And they have them in this blush. Like, this blush is beautiful. I would absolutely wear these shoes. And I had to go through all those other shoes that I didn't even like. And now we found these shoes that I did. And that's just one like very, very small example of going through a store to find and curate stuff that I might not otherwise have thought about. And it's that thoughtful curation, that going through and taking my time and really going through each piece that allows me to express my own style. And it makes people look at me and say, oh, where do you shop? Where do you get your clothes from? So throw out your perceptions of every brand, whatever brands you have. I don't care what brand it is. It doesn't matter to me. Throw out your perceptions. Just go through the store or go through the website and just look at things. Go through a vintage page like the 13 Club or Rebalance Vintage. Go through and just scroll. I can't tell you how many times I have scrolled through literally all like 30 pages in their entire catalog. 30 pages worth of clothes, going through everything just to find one item that I end up liking and end up loving it for that matter. A few of my favorite pieces to this day, I got literally on page like 28 of like a random secondhand online vintage store that I went through just, like I said, 28 pages of, and I found a piece and I loved it. And now I still love it to this day. It's like one of my favorite pieces in my wardrobe. So this is my challenge to you, the viewer at home, whoever is watching this right now. My challenge is to go to one store that maybe in your mind right now you don't like, you don't think they're cool, you don't think anything of them, maybe you just pass by them all the time and they don't matter to you. I challenge you to go to one one store and just go through everything from top to bottom, go through every single page they have within reason, because, you know, some pages, some clothing brands have like 100 pages of items, right? Within reason, but go farther than you normally would. Go to page 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of their catalog of whatever they have. Go through all their jackets, all their tops, all their clothing, all their bottoms, all their pants, all their shoes, their accessories, their handbags, their glasses, whatever. Go through everything all the way from the first to the last page and find one item that you like. And once you've done that, share it in a TikTok video or share it in an Instagram reel or something and say, hey, look, I went through this store and wouldn't you know it, I found a piece that I liked, which is crazy because I don't actually even like this store. Like for me, in order to like a store, I typically only like 10% of the things that they put out. If I say I like Acne Studios, for example, I like Acne Studios because maybe like 10% of the things they make, I actually enjoy. The other 90% I think are ugly. So go through stores that you may not like, that may only have that 10% of things you like. Find some stuff that you like. If you're gonna post it on TikTok, tag my TikTok. If you're gonna post on Instagram, tag my Instagram, because I would love to see it. I would love to see what you guys end up seeing, where you go out from your comfort zone to find pieces that you normally wouldn't think of. And that's a great exercise in diversifying and making your personal style more unique, much more personal to you, and much more definable to who you are and what you want to express. Or better yet, go to a local flea market, go to a local thrift store, one that maybe you pass by because you don't think they have anything, and just go through anything. And if you find anything, tag me in it. Flea markets and thrift stores, again, one of the best places to get stuff in the world, and it's sustainable. Shopping secondhand is amazing for the environment. It's so much better than going out and just consuming from any random designer brand on the planet. So that being said, I hope you got something out of this. Please let me know what you think, and if you're gonna start trying out different stores, if you're gonna start trying to expand your horizons. And remember, don't be a brand mannequin. Don't be a brand's billboard. If they didn't pay you to advertise for them, why are you going out and advertising from them? If you're gonna go advertise as a walking billboard, they should be paying you money for that. Otherwise, don't give them free advertisement. They don't need it. Anyways, that's this week's rant video talk yap session. Hope you got something from it. Love you so much. I'll see you in the next one, and deuces.